bagi kita semua dimanapun berada. Perkenalkan, saya Jonathan Irene Sartika Dewi Max. Saya bertugas sebagai dosen sastra Inggris di Fakultas Ilmu Budaya Universitas Mula Warman, Kalimantan Timur. Video ini dibuat dengan tujuan memenuhi salah satu persyaratan sertifikasi dosen tahun 2023, yaitu pernyataan diri dosen unjuk kerja Tridharma Perguruan Tinggi di aspek pengajaran. Video ini memuat penjelasan mata kuliah saya yang saya ampu, yaitu folklore dan mitologi. Mata kuliah folklore dan mitologi adalah mata kuliah wajib bagi mahasiswa semester 5 pada program studi S1 Sastra Inggris di Fakultas Ilmu Budaya Universitas Mula Warman dengan bobot 2 SKS dalam 1 semester. Mata kuliah folklore dan mitologi bertujuan membangun kemampuan siswa menelaah aspek mitos dan folklore dari berbagai pendekatan. Kemampuan tersebut diterapkan dalam kajian sastra lintas genre untuk menganalisis karya sastra yang dinilai mencerminkan unsur mitos dan folklore terkait dengan makna konsep masyarakat tentang struktur, makna, arketipe, motif, dan simbol. Hal tersebut diwujudkan pada mahasiswa yang mampu mewujudkan CPMK atau capaian pembelajaran mata kuliah, yaitu 1. Menelaah aspek dasar folklore dan mitologi dan penjelasan tentang fungsinya dalam masyarakat atau komunitas pemiliknya. 2. Menerapkan konsep monomit, fungsi aktensial, dan motif yang berkelindan antara folklore dan elemen karya sastra, serta menghasilkan karya tulis berupa kajian dengan pendekatan arketipe pada karya sastra. Capaian profil lulusan program studi S1 Sastra Inggris yang dibebankan pada mata kuliah ini adalah kemampuan mengulas bentuk ragam karya sastra yang meliputi sekurang-kurangnya prosa, drama, dan puisi, sehingga mampu menyediakan layanan kebahasaan dalam bahasa Inggris untuk keperluan khusus dalam dunia kerja. Kemampuan penjelasan atas teori-teori di bidang bahasa dan sastra, dan mampu menerapkan teori tersebut dalam menghadapi suatu fenomena bahasa atau permasalahan kebudayaan secara umum, terutama yang berkaitan dengan kebudayaan tropis. Memiliki kompetensi sebagai pemerhati bahasa dan sastra yang berintegritas, yang berpegang teguh pada nilai-nilai kebenaran, dan mampu berperan secara mandiri atau kelompok untuk melestarikan kebudayaan lokal. Dengan pendekatan DIA atau Delivery, Interaction, dan Assessment, dalam mata kuliah ini dosen melakukan langkah sebagai berikut. Pertama adalah delivery yang dilakukan dengan penyampaian bahan tayang seperti slide presentasi bahan ajar dan video pendukung narasi teori dari platform YouTube guna memperluas materi kelas. Kedua adalah metode interaktif yang dilakukan melalui tanya jawab, berbagi pengalaman, dan diskusi kelompok didampingi dosen di ruang kelas. Ketiga adalah asesmen yang dilakukan melalui pengamatan dinamika diskusi kelompok, penugasan kelompok dan mandiri, serta pelaksanaan ujian tengah dan akhir semester. Referensi mata kuliah folklore dan mitologi berupa buku elektronik dan PDF jurnal tersedia pada tautan G Drive. Seluruhnya telah saya kurasi dari berbagai sumber unduhan untuk menunjang sumber pembelajaran di kelas dan rujukan tugas-tugas serta ujian. Tautan berisi materi perkuliahan dan suplemen bacaan tersebut diberikan di awal mulainya perkuliahan bersamaan dengan pemaparan rencana pembelajaran semester dan penjelasan kontrak perkuliahan. Sistem pembelajaran di mata kuliah folklore dan mitologi menggunakan metode pembelajaran sinkronus yang mengutamakan peran mahasiswa yang aktif dalam interaksi kelas dan kolaborasi dalam diskusi kelompok. Metode asinkronus juga terlaksana dengan bantuan aplikasi WhatsApp, di mana mahasiswa setiap kelas membuat grup diskusi topik pembelajaran dan perencanaan kerja tugas kelompok. Melalui media WhatsApp, saya juga membagikan referensi-referensi video dari platform YouTube untuk menghadirkan cerita-cerita folklore dan mitologi dari berbagai negara agar menambah perbendaharaan model folklore dan mitologi mahasiswa serta meningkatkan minat belajar mahasiswa. Selain itu, case-based learning juga diterapkan pada perkuliahan ini. Penerapannya pada 1. Penugasan kelompok dan mandiri sebanyak 2 kali sebelum UTS yang berfokus pada penerapan teori atas teks folklore dan mitologi, serta 2 kali penugasan kelompok dan mandiri sesudah UTS berfokus pada analisa jenis arketipe dan fungsi aktan pada karya sastra. UTS diberikan dengan model pilihan ganda agar dapat mengukur pemahaman mahasiswa atas konsep-konsep umum folklore dan mitologi secara mendetil. Sementara UAS dilaksanakan di akhir semester dalam bentuk tugas makalah, di mana mahasiswa menunjukkan kemampuan menganalisa representasi aspek folklore atau mitologi dalam elemen-elemen naratif karya sastra. Penilaian akhir di mata kuliah folklore dan mitologi diperoleh dari asesmen terhadap keaktifan mahasiswa mengikuti perkuliahan dengan porsi 10%, hasil penugasan 20%, perolehan skor UTS 30% dan UAS sebanyak 40%. Demikian deskripsi pembelajaran mata kuliah folklore dan mitologi pada program studi S1 Sastra Inggris di Fakultas Ilmu Budaya Universitas Mula Warman. Selanjutnya saya menampilkan cuplikan dari proses pembelajaran yang saya laksanakan secara sinkronis tatap muka di ruang kelas. Selamat menyaksikan.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Nice to see you today in our third meeting, and our today's material is about tradition and rituals. Still, this is something that folk people do. So let me ask you: do you still remember what is meant by folklore? Make a quick guess. One or two words.
Folklore is a simple, and folklore is
The Lord. Something that we do.
story.
Can be story. Yeah. Lore can be in the form of story. But what is the essence of lore? Belief. Okay, one more. Something that build up that word for the people, and the lore is. Can you recall? Something that conduct our behavior. Is that come with ins? No. Something that make us in order. Instruction. Thank you very much. Don't forget about that concept. Yeah, we've learned that even in the first of our meeting. In today's plan, we will talk about how tradition become the lore, the instruction, and also the process, and also how tradition help us to make sense of identity, and also how we identify, how community identify their tradition, and also how do people learn and share tradition, and we come to deeper to tradition bearer, and also how tradition disappears. And we will also talk about ritual. In the end of this class, you will be assessed about the aspects of ritual. So pay attention to all of the material today, because all of them can be your theoretical concept to explain the ritual that we will choose in a group work today. Alright, we start with a video that I have prepared. Right, if you remember, they are the same people that I shared their photo in the last meeting, right? So it is the tradition called Nonglai, happen like once in a 5 year, celebrating every winning in our life. Well, actually, it's like a reconstruction about how they win over Ngayo in the past, in a long time ago. However, today they celebrate every winning, like having graduation from high school or university, and also having success in doing their job or their plantation, agriculture effort in their tradition. So it starts by having like fasting, and they avoid to speak to women, and also avoid to speak to eat spicy food. So they only eat rice with maybe very flat what is it, soup, and they, I don't know how to say it in English, makan sambil jongkok. Because maybe in other culture makan sambil jongkok is not polite, but in this occasion they give the sign of being alert, yeah, cautious, and also vigilant. So okay, this tradition is actually specific for Lungla, the sub-ethnic of Slavs Bahau. Sometimes we find the similar name called Lomlai in Wehea, but they celebrate different things. That's why this is a really specific that makes Lungla as Lungla group. They are known as the group with fighter in the long time ago. Right? So tradition is a vital dynamic feature of the culture of a folklore. So the dynamic feature, yeah, they communicate meaning right there, and also setting is made up, costume is chosen. Yeah, those male have at least 2 kind of costume that they should change after you see the stage later and before they change their clothes into the other clothes, so that it's like having them clean from the battle and come back to home with a new status. And then what is tradition? Both the lore we share and process by the. And also tradition is something that creates and confirms identity, as I said, yeah. By doing that, at least those males confirm their adulthood, yeah, because they win over something. They has awareness to write it down, because only having by awareness, word by word, it will not work to the younger generation. So having tradition indicates the process of communicating that word. Yeah. Became a mental person with the indicator of themselves, and also this definition. Tradition implies a sense of continuity and shared material, costume, verbal expression, like the praying they said, and then continue to be practiced within and among certain groups. Continuity does not always mean repetition of the same thing. Dimanon sekali repeated, but it's not only that. Here, it refers to the thread of meaning and significance that connect tradition with group. Yang dicari benang merahnya, threads of meaning, the significance, how they continue their signification of their identity through the tradition. And then how tradition helps create and confirm our identity. Usually it's not only tradition like that, or initiation, but even marriage. We sometimes having difficult time deciding what traditional clothes that I want to wear. Sometimes maybe because our supposed to be is not in the same culture as other different ethnics. Yeah. of the tradition. And then when we go to certain ritual like that, it allows you to express certain aspect of your own interest and identity that you have chosen to develop by participating in the tradition of the group. Like maybe for Swifties, yeah, they build their own lore during the era tour, like changing or bertukaran friendship bracelet. Tidak ada yang menyuruh, just because one lyric saying so make a friendship bracelet, at the moment and makes it. Jadi they have initiative to make some of their own and then some to change between the fans. Recognizing tradition validates the identity of existing group, signals our willingness to be identified, willing to be Swiftie maybe. Yeah, I want to not only living the traditional one but also what we have in a current era. Tradition themselves must be identified as meaningful by the group. It's not tradition, it's not ritual if it is not meaningful. Yeah. Having Swiftie around us gives us sense of we are heard, we are seen. Yeah. Our place in music confirm that we have maybe another woman out there that will support us. Sometimes the value change, the value develop when we are in the community. And also along with that can the idea that folk group claim tradition and participate in those traditions that allow them to share value, belief that are important to them. Right. So how do people learn and share? If we only focus on the word or the term passing down, it's usually like somebody will be a passive one who just receives. But actually, in the way we receive the tradition, even as in our family or in our religion, we also learn, we also adapt. Yeah? Folklore is not a relic of dying, pure past that never change. Folklore can change like this one. When we inventing tradition or we inventing the way we doing traditional art, people work together to keep tradition relevant and meaningful to those who share it. With a violin bow like this, yeah? Because it will become attractive and engaging. It's process. It's not like it's not fake, it's not false, but suggests the creative impulse. Features of the ritual and also low context and context ritual has differences, and also we will discuss about the types of rituals, and then later your assessment will be related to this. Well, somehow we need to go to church, we go to mosque, we go to temple because we meet other people who share the same belief with us. It's not only the belief that I confirm, but to confirm that I belong to this community. Those people are my people too. And then what happened during the ritual? During the ritual, world changes. Reality can be suspended. The tradition become real, tangible experience that we can actively take part in. When we are praying, we are no longer student, I'm no longer lecturer. Ritual is a particular type of tradition that many folklorists study as distinct category of folklore. Rituals are repeated, habitual action, but they are more purposeful than custom. And ritual are performance that repeated pattern frequently include ceremonial, symbols, action, repetition, and perhaps most significant to our being able to recognize that they have a frame other than rangkaian and the proportion indicates when ritual begins and ends. Long context ini less formal, usually can be spontaneous but still meaningful. For example, like the conversion ritual or of dropping salt over your shoulder when you spill salt is very low context. Criminal space carry to ritual are magical, mystical realms, yeah, from something that meaningless before, but we prepare ourselves to have meaningful symbol. We are on the edge of something new, a transitional place where we are neither what we were nor what we will be. Okay, types of ritual ada rites of passage, initiation ritual, naming ritual, and then initiation ritual di sini ya sama seperti dengan KMB, first a person enters to membership in group, and the last one is naming ritual. It's like an act or as announcement that a confirmation of a child identity and membership. Tradition as the family, friends, neighbor, and other group we belong to. Studying tradition allows us to understand not just what we care about, but also how we express ourselves. Ritual makes belief visible, confirms our group beliefs, and rituals are important and spoken as being important. As we prepared before, these are the questions. We already sit in group. Okay, the question is that have you ever been in rituals? So I hope that the people that we choose that you have really been there. I started to see that, so I got kind of into something that's very far away from us. That's why I asked you to put ritual that you can do at home. So what was the purpose or significance of the ritual? Do you have any question while doing this podcast?
What if that ritual that you mentioned in your activity that there's a free time? What if that's like nothing there, like nothing the people that you mentioned?
Okay, maybe we can choose that this is low context or high context ritual.
More like a celebration event.
What kind of event? Yeah. Okay. In how are they high context or low context ritual? For high context, you can put the tangible and intangible aspect. Yeah. Okay, baik. Okay. Anyone want to share what they choose? Yeah, you don't need to write the more. Have you been in Arrow? All of you? In Arrow. How do you feel when you are in Arrow? Amazed. What actually Arrow is like procession of something ritual. What specific ritual do you talk about? Which one? Okay, so we're sharing now this group. Yes?
Also, walling in this tradition is allowed. There are several walling rules that Ulama Orang Sungai must follow. These rules regulate the time equipment of the whole population in Batalu.
Praise the Lord. So it's also reflected how we gain a little from ecosystem, but we don't ruin anything. We will give the time to like regenerate. So that it keep giving us some sort of food. Alright. Go to the assignment and maybe now you have already the understanding about how actually ritual envelop the tradition, and also ritual confirms our identity, and also you have can identify the aspect inside ritual, the tangible, the intangible one. Okay, and next week we will have the other material in the board meeting, and we will come to discuss about mythology. So this is our folklore. We go to mythology. While mythology is actually part of folklore, we will go to new part. Okay. See you next week.